series where we get to know other BOMA members from throughout the Southeast Michigan area. Just a reminder to shut off your cameras and mute your mics. And now, your host, Susan Light.
Hello, everyone. I am Susan Light, Regional Sales Manager at Clean Agent. And today's episode, I will be going solo as your host with a little bit of a co-host from Rick Troy here for today's BOMA Talks. So glad you're here. If you ever miss a show or part of the series, no problem. You can find recordings of today's show and the past interviews and also information on our upcoming events at a brand new website. If you have not checked this out, please do. www.bomadet.org. Huge shout out to Rick and Rachel for creating such an amazing brand new website. You can also find our past shows on our YouTube channel, which is BOMA Metro Detroit. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of the interviews. We would like to give a great big shout out to our sponsor partner program, because without them, some things wouldn't be possible. So we'd like to give a huge shout out to Guardian Alarm, IMK Cleaning Services, City Elevators, and Right Size Facility. We truly appreciate your continued support of BOMA Metro Detroit. Now, let's get to the good stuff, because this is going to be a good one. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to two outstanding BOMA members. We have Thomas White from Dominion Realty Services and Derrek Teeple with Groundmasters. So, time to welcome our first amazing guest, who is Thomas White from Dominion Realty Services. Thomas, we're so happy to have you here, and thank you for joining us, and welcome.
Well, How are you? Happy. I'm good. I'm happy to be here, Susan, and thank you for having me on. I have a little presentation to share with everybody this afternoon. First, I'll just start with a little introduction about the company that I work for. Dominion Realty Services. So Dominion is a full service commercial real estate company that does everything from property management, lease administration, financial reporting and budgeting, vendor and maintenance coordination, capital projects, and tenant relationships. Yes. So really we specialize in property management. And we've been in the industry dating back to the early to mid 1900s, where we started as a residential builder. These are some of the flyers that hang in our hallway. I ask Peter quite often if he'll give me the same deal, but I can't seem to get the answer that I want from him. You'll see some of these homes like back in the 30s and 40s when service members were coming home from the wars and needed places to live. So we were building the houses that they would buy for $12,000 or $13,000. So then the company transferred their focus into commercial real estate, and this is when Dominion started to come together and start to develop the larger properties and bigger complexes that we still own and manage today.
Okay.
And
awesome.
then you'll see these are our core services that we offer today. Like I said, commercial property management, brokerage, construction, development, really anything you can think of in the realm of commercial real estate. So with that said, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the BOMA Emerging Professionals Committee. It's a committee within BOMA for people who are newer to the commercial real estate industry, around 10 years of experience or less. It can include property managers, brokers, engineers, attorneys, construction people, developers, and really anyone building a career in commercial real estate. And the goal for us here, it's pretty simple, and that's to help young professionals get connected, learn more about the industry, and get more involved. I think the biggest value to me so far getting involved with this committee is just the value of the relationships that you'll build. A lot of us know that commercial real estate is a relationship business. The people that you'll meet early in your career can turn into future clients, vendors, coworkers, or people you lean on for advice. A lot of us in this group and in this committee, we have another 30 to 40 years in the industry. So relationships we build now have a long time to grow. And that's what I really like about this group, is that it gives people a chance to get involved early and meet others who are trying to grow as well. A good example that I'll bring up is from one of the last events we did at the Urban Tech Exchange. There was a company there that had developed a ceiling tile that could actually absorb heat and release it later into the building when the building needed it. So that kind of thing ties directly into where buildings are going. Energy efficiency, smarter technology, operating cost control. And we get to see that early because being a part of BOMA Emerging Professionals event, we host these kind of events where companies can come in and show their products to us. So
Well,
I don't like to.
I have a couple questions.
Absolutely.
Just off the bat. And I was going to get into the emerging professionals, but since you've started with that, we can lead with that. So, and because to be honest with you, a lot of people are not familiar with it. They might see it. And I just, as someone that is not part of it. So, with the emerging professional committee, you had mentioned that it's just not for property managers, correct? So
Correct,
it's
yes.
anybody who deals within the real estate construction. Would that
Absolutely.
would that
Yeah.
entail like,
Anybody who is a real estate professional with 10 years or less of experience is who we are trying to connect with.
and when you say real estate professional, because for those like myself, in a sense, would we be considered a real estate professional, or would it just have to do with in the CRE type of family, in a sense?
More so in the CRE, like the management side.
Facilities management,
Correct.
okay. Okay, because I just want to make sure, because, we want to make sure, especially Emerging Professional Committee, which I think is a fabulous committee. I know you guys do some amazing things, and you're right, it's all about networking. So, I mean, anybody out there, if they're interested in joining, who should they reach out to?
Well, they can reach out to me, or anybody below here. Here's my contact information in case you want to get a hold of me. And just shoot me an email, call me. Also getting a hold of Rachel, who works for BOMA, is also another great resource, and she can help get connected with the group.
Okay, no, I mean, because that's something that, a lot of people aren't familiar with, but it's good to know, because, we want to make sure that we steer the right people to you.
Absolutely.
And instead of me going, hey, Thomas,
Right.
or having Derek, who's next, I'll give you a call. But no, I mean, that's great information that people can definitely learn from that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do have some questions. You said Dominion it's over 100 years old, correct?
Yeah,
So
it is
is that
actually. I mean, we've been through a lot of changes, a lot of variations, different company names, but the company actually started, it goes back to 1912 when they were building single family homes. And then, like I said, it just it's a family company, multi-generation of just real estate investing, owner operated. And actually, Peter Burton, who owns the company, he comes into the office every day still, walks down the hallway, says hi and goodbye to everyone on a daily basis. So it's really cool to see the community we have in this company.
Is he considered a boomer, since we had this conversation before we went live? Just kidding.
He might go even beyond a boomer, Susan.
He's a boomerang, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got some questions. I know you have a presentation. Do you want to do the presentation first, or because I
Well,
do have some questions
were
as
my
well?
slides up? I thought I
Um,
was sharing my screen and
you know what? Let
I
me
went
do
through.
this. Let me do it, and I do apologize. And is anybody seeing them?
Hang
I
Because
on.
could see, I could see all of your slides, Tom.
You
Okay,
can,
yeah,
okay,
so I
then it's
went
just
through,
on my end.
went through my slides already and that was the presentation, so.
Okay, and you know what, for some reason, I don't know, but I can't see it, so I do apologize.
Oh, no worries.
But I know that we've had prior conversations. So I have some questions for you, if
Absolutely.
you're ready. So how did you get into property management?
It actually started when COVID hit. I was in college at Ferris State and we were sent home due to COVID. And I knew that because I was going to be taking classes online, I could also get a job. I found a firm in Flint, West Second Street Associates, that was just looking for a intern to help merge files from one accounting platform to another. And I took that opportunity and just kind of gained the trust of the owners and managers at that company and kept taking on more responsibility, and it blossomed into where I am today at Dominion.
Wow.
And that's a great point, Susan, because we've talked about it before. A lot of people in this career path, they don't always start out as property managers. I mean, you hear a lot of people that they could be general managers at Lowe's or a law clerk somewhere, and they get into this field. And like I said, that the BOMA Emerging Professionals is a great community to get a part of if you want to grow your network and grow your career path.
Right. I love that. So it's all because of COVID. You can see things, good things do happen to,
Yeah.
during a bad situation. What is the biggest misconception that people have about your job, about being a property manager?
I think everyone has this misconception that all we deal with is headaches and tenant complaints.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been the case for me. I've built some great relationships with tenants, and one of the most rewarding things that I get from this job is being able to support the small businesses in the United States, which is the backbone of America. So being that liaison between the tenant and the property owner, you actually have a big impact on that company's operations and success.
I think that is the first time anybody has ever put that into that perception that what you're doing is helping a small business, or it could be a large business, you never know.
Yeah. But I
that's a great
stress
point.
small business because you can really see your impact there.
Yeah.
And how you can help them and just to alleviate some of their pressures. Like the small businesses have a small number of employees, and any way you can help them handle things at the property has a big impact on their operations.
Definitely does, because that's where they work. That's their home where they work.
Yeah.
So, and their environment. So what is the craziest tenant situation that you've ever dealt with?
Oh, that's a good one, Susan.
That's why you don't get them beforehand. Make
Tenant
it think.
situation. I think of when I was actually a property manager in Florida for a year, right in Tampa, Florida, right off of Kennedy Boulevard, really busy area. We actually had a homeless person throw a brick through a glass door, walked through a tenant's suite, lit the place on fire, and then fled on foot. Set off the fire sprinklers. So that was a huge restoration process, but that's probably the craziest thing I think of. It's not exactly tenant related, but just in terms of property management, that's probably the craziest thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is. And how about, what is the strangest maintenance call you've ever received?
Oh, geez. Um, hmm. I would say I manage a lot of industrial warehouses, and inside those warehouses you have people driving a bunch of forklifts. And one time I got a photo of a overhead door that was completely smashed, and like the blocks and the bricks were just in disarray, like someone on the fork truck had just taken the whole thing out. And they send us a picture, and they say we're going to need some help here. So
You think?
That one stands out for sure.
Okay, and I promise, last craziest question, but have you ever had a tenant just disappear overnight, just move out?
Yeah, I have. When they're not paying rent and the balance is growing, that's kind of the go-to. They'll try to disappear, and then we have to pursue them in any way we can. And that's where, the having a well-written lease comes into play, and how you can pursue tenants who just leave before lease expiration. So that's definitely something we deal with.
I would say it would take a lot for someone to have to say, okay, I'm out during the night, overnight.
It happens.
It's just the strangest things. I had this question written down. You've kind of answered it, but what's been your proudest moment in this line of work?
Um,
Has anything stood out?
I just go back to helping being that liaison between the businesses and the owners,
Yep.
and then also getting the owners the return on their investment that they're looking for. We're doing all the groundwork for, that owner spends millions of dollars on this asset, and it's our job to make sure they get the return, and we're managing the expenses, managing the tenants, and getting that asset to operate the way it was intended to. Like on the outside, when you hear of property management, all you really think of is like work orders and things like that. But
Right.
I get a lot of satisfaction out of the numbers, and meeting the goals of the owners.
Right. And you're right. When you think of property management, people just think of the work orders and, basically you guys get all the complaints and you fix it, but you do
Right.
so much more than that.
Yeah.
So what keeps you motivated in this? And it is, I'm assuming, stressful industry, because I know a lot of property management managers, and I know the calls in the middle of the night, on the weekends, the craziness. What, what, motivates you to continue to do
It's
this?
simple. It's the work has to be done. Someone has to do it. So we just keep showing up, working away at it. And I have my own goals. Like I love to see a small balance on the AR report, and meeting any requests from tenants, things like that. But just I think it's just my own human nature of trying to be better than I was yesterday.
Okay, so with that being said, what's one thing, just one thing that you wish that everyone understood about being a property manager?
Oh, that's a great question, Susan.
I know, aren't they good? I did good this
Uh,
time.
you, um, I go back to, we're more than just someone who handles work orders. There's a lot on our plate, and I think we're undervalued in the workforce world. Um, Property owners really rely on us to maintain their asset, and more than just a work order type of way.
Well, I love your answers. I mean, it's a little bit different perspective than I've seen, and I really love that. If there was just one thing that you could change in this whole, tenant housing, whatever you want to call it, could you think of one thing that,
Change
I
for
mean,
the tenants.
will change this in the industry, in a
Everyone paid
sense?
their rent on time.
Okay, I like that answer. I like that answer. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, we know you're part of the emerging professional committee, and you've been a BOMA member. How long actually have you been in BOMA?
So I joined BOMA in January, and I started going to as many
Wow.
events as possible, and still love going to the events. It's a great place to meet new people, build relationships, and they're a ton of fun.
And what's your favorite? I mean, since January, and we're in what? January, February, March, April, May. I got to count my fingers. 5 months. What's been your favorite event so far? I mean,
I
there's still
default
more to
to
come.
the cornhole tournament, but I'm pretty excited for the Lake St. Clair get together that we have coming up.
Did you at the cornhole? Did you play?
I did.
How'd you
Did not
do?
do very well, but it was still a ton of fun.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, there are so many more events coming up. Do you just wait? We have some real exciting ones that we're going to announce. But I wanted to thank you for your time, getting to know you, getting to know Dominion, because you are newer to BOMA. And thank you for your perspective on property managers. I'm sure they all appreciate, your words, and it is definitely a pleasure to get to know you even more. And thank you. And I promise I will rewatch it and look at the slides. It's just, they didn't appear on my side for some
Oh, no
reason,
worries. No.
but
Thank you for having me. And I'll also add to that, with more events coming up, you will see more emerging professional events coming up for people to attend.
perfect.
So if you have 10 years, ballpark 10 years or less of experience as a commercial property professional, please reach out and try to attend these events.
I love it. I love the plug because I think it's something that we definitely want, more people to come. And like you said, networking is key. So this would be fabulous.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Thomas, for your time. It was an absolute pleasure.
Susan, that was awesome. Isn't Tom the greatest?
He is, and I love that we learn more. And I apologize again, for some reason the slides weren't showing up on my end. But it's great to learn more about the emerging professional committee, because I have, I've always wanted to learn more and who can join. So I think he did a fabulous. I think it was great.
Yeah,
It was great getting to
absolutely. I
know
mean,
him.
so as Thomas said, he just became a member here at BOMA in
5
January.
months.
So he's made a major impact here at BOMA, and the future is absolutely bright for BOMA because of people like Thomas. And you know what? We've got some events coming up.
Yes, we
Um,
do.
if
You can do the first one and I'll do the rest.
all
I'll let you
right,
go first.
let me
I'll let you
hit.
go age over
Uh,
beauty.
I'll hit a couple. Thank you very much. So if you waited to sign up for the golf outing, you waited too long. We are absolutely sold out. We do have a wait list going on. The June 15th Spring Golf Classic is sold out. However, there's still an opportunity for you to win $1,000 by buying drone drop balls. And those are available on the website at bomadet.org. So June 15, Spring Golf Classic is sold out, but you got some opportunities to have some fun. Yeah, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, question. So if you can't attend the golf outing, can you still you can still buy the tickets for the drone drop?
You sure can, and those are
Okay.
available on the website.
And Rick has the credit card, so perfect.
Hey, and so another in our series, our Lunch and Learn series is coming up on Wednesday, July 8th. Castell Office Spaces is doing us a wonderful favor by hosting, and we have a twofer. We have two presenters. Metro Signs and Lighting will be having a discussion on LED technology, controls, and more importantly, energy rebates. That'll be followed up by our members, Environmental Testing and Consulting, who will be telling us all the deep stuff about asbestos, lead, radon, and other hazardous material. All this stuff that our great property managers need to know about. Also, Casey's of Walled Lake will be catering this fantastic luncheon. It is limited in registrations. Registrations are now being accepted at bomadet.org. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsors of that Lunch and Learn series, UNS Companies and Premier Paving.
Oh my God, Casey's. I gotta do a plug. Was there Saturday night? Best burger, sorry, but great burger. And you forgot one more, and I'm gonna do it because this is exciting. This is, I'm really looking forward to this. This is our first BOMA Summer Island Party. Can you wear like a hula skirt? I mean, I'm not even sure, but it will take place on July 29th from 12 to 6. It's on Middle Channel Island, located in Lake St. Clair, in or on whatever. But here's the good news. Here's good news. Registration is opening soon,
Sure.
hopefully by the end of the week. So make sure you keep an eye out for your emails, because I guarantee this is going to sell out fast. And Rick has promised to wear a hula skirt. Just putting it
Well,
out
I wouldn't
there.
know about the hula skirt, but it'll be something. No Speedos
Okay.
allowed. So yeah, it's Wednesday, July 29. I said Wednesday, July 29. So mark your calendar now. There will be free boat shuttles from Brown's Landing to our private island in the Middle Channel. Barbecue, music, swag, swimming, open bars, great people, great food, and great times. So
Yeah.
that will be up on bomadet.org no later than Friday of this week.
And I'm telling you, if for anybody on right now, if you have not attended anything like BOMA boats, what was it, BOMA boats last year, which was a riot. This is gonna top it, I think. It might top it. I think it will. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So just make sure you keep an eye out for the emails, check the website, social media, because the minute it's announced, I guarantee it'll sell out fast. And with all that fun and exciting news, we are gonna welcome our second guest.
Who's that?
It's Derrek Teeple with Groundmasters. Where is he? Is he on? Derrek,
How you doing?
good. Can we see your face? Can we see that smiling face?
My camera's on. You can't see me?
No. Can you see him, Rick? Oh, there you are. God, this is doing
I think
weird
it's
things.
user error, Susan.
You know what? I think it might be user error, but we won't tell anybody. So, Derrek, can you tell us a little bit about Groundmasters and what kind of services you provide?
Yeah, so Groundmasters is a full commercial landscape maintenance and snow removal company. 38 years they've been around, started in Wisconsin, and has grown over those years from just a small, landscape and snow removal company, primarily in snow for about the first 20 years. And then as it grew and moved out west into the Denver area, and then down through Cedar Rapids and Chicago, really picked up steam with a kind of a unique model. A lot of companies use, and I'm sure a lot of property managers on here know that, as these companies in the service world grow, they tend to pick up service providers or subcontract models. Our company goes a little bit different route, as we do heavy acquisitions and really implement our model locally throughout the market. So now we're in 47 states, and currently, one of the largest landscape and snow removal companies in the country that's actually operated with our in-house team and staff.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. So, how did you get started in the business?
Actually, it's a great question. I started officially, I would say, in 2009. Actually, the gentleman is actually on here that I started working for, so I got to give him a shout out. Larry Yaffa with Brylar, back then was B&L. Been a mentor, looked up to him since I was a kid in this industry, and love BOMA events because it's really the only time I can get him, because he never answers my phone calls. But it's always great to see him and bounce ideas off him. He's kind of guided me throughout my whole career. So, BOMA is a big part of that for me.
Awesome. Lawn, landscaping, snow removal. So what's the biggest I can't even talk today, misconception people have about your job? Whether it's
About
the landscaping or snow removal.
I think about my job personally, the biggest misconception is that we just do land and snow, right? My job is just like anything. Oh, Larry gave me the heart. There's another boomer, Tom, using the emojis. Sorry. The biggest misconception is at the end of Tom like that. The biggest misconception is that we're just a service provider, right? We still run a business just like anybody else here, right? So the same conversations that most companies are having, AR and AP and vendors and things like that, and so suppliers. We have it's the same kind of model, right? So we're in the same world from a business standpoint, and I think the biggest misconception is a lot of people are just not experts, right, in our industry, as we don't try to be experts in their industry. So I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions and challenges we deal with.
And are there any certain types of properties that you service, or any, do you do any residential? Is it more commercial? So,
Yes.
what's your area?
Yeah, so we don't do any residential properties whatsoever. We do full commercial real estate. So your level, what we call Class A office, or your industrial, for example, like warehouses or logistical centers, Amazons, UPSs, things like that. Those types of buildings. Um, Large complexes, malls, even some larger municipalities, not here locally in Michigan, but Cedar Rapids, Iowa, we take care of all their municipalities. Same thing up in Madison, Wisconsin. Um, so the larger scale accounts, I'll call them, not necessarily properties, because it could be multiple.
Right.
And then large portfolios with property management groups and things like that, right? So we do some small one-offs, but typically it's the larger books of business.
Okay. And, thinking about it, supposedly there's 6 months to every, well, 6 months, spring, summer and winter, fall. What's your busiest season for your team?
So it's I don't know if there's a busy or a slow season.
Mhm.
Right when everybody's thinking right now about summer, we're actually flipping the switch. We're thinking about snow. And then in the wintertime, when everybody's thinking about the holidays, we're thinking about landscape. So we're just kind of on a different cycle, and you kind of got to walk that line. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's busy all the time. I mean, that's just what it really is. We're a growing company, and we set pretty strict boundaries on our growth because we are so large. We want to obviously be able to make sure that we can still maintain and service the clients that we do have. So that's probably the trickiest part of that.
Okay, so I know that you're thinking winter and I'm still thinking, spring, summer. I don't even know, a couple days ago, we felt like fall, but in your landscaping services, what exactly does that entail?
Yeah, so it's full property maintenance. So what we consider that to be is we'll take your property and we'll maintain it from not just your lawn, but your plants, your trees, your shrubs, your flowers, your mulch, anything we can do to enhance the physical appearance of the property, right? Property managers are trying to maintain so renewals, right? Which is big in our business as well. So we completely understand that renewals, and they're trying to grow their business and fill vacancies. So curb appeal is incredibly important,
Yeah.
especially in the commercial world, right? You're trying to get people to bring their business there and their clients. So it has to be presentable. And that's what we do. We make sure that the property looks as clean as possible. And, obviously we have different service levels, but that's the goal at the end of the day is anything on the outside of that property or that building to make it look as good as we possibly can.
Right. So what's the weirdest thing you found while landscaping?
Oh my gosh. Um,
It has to be PG rated too, by
yeah,
the
I'm gonna
way.
go. I'm gonna take it. I'll go a PG route, and I'll say oh my gosh, we had a client at a commercial building. They wanted to do a really nice outdoor space for their office staff. So they spent about $500,000
Wow.
on this space, and they had a Japanese maple tree that was growing healthy as could be in slag sand in their existing patio. So we did not remove it. We just built around it, and that tree to this day is still thriving in slag. So very
Wow.
unique thing to find in landscaping.
Wow, yes, that is amazing. So now I'm gonna flip calendar and I'm gonna fast forward to winter time. Because I've heard some stories, you and I have, we've talked.
Yes.
So my first one is, how early does your crew start, like during a snowstorm? Um, let's say, for instance, it starts snowing and there's a couple inches. Do they start immediately or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I will tell you, there's a lot of different variables and answers to this question. What I will tell you is your larger, more successful companies that are liability focused and service level focused. And I'm confident in saying there is a good amount of those. I'll just put them out there. My company, Brylar is one of these companies, Troy Clog. The companies that understand the snow and ice removal industry and the preventative pieces that go into it. So if it starts snowing now, more than likely our crews have been working for 6 to 8 hours before a snowflake ever flew, right? We have liquid brine, we have brine systems in tanks and trucks that are going out and servicing these properties well before that happens, right? Because especially with the laws kind of flipping over here over the last 3 years, we manage our properties and our clients' accounts based off liability, which sometimes can become one of our biggest hurdles is property managers, and rightfully so, just like us, we have a budget. They are managing their properties off of dollars. We're managing off of safety. So sometimes that's a little bit of a hurdle to climb, but we're proactively, and not, again, not just us, a lot of these larger companies are proactively servicing the clients before snow ever falls because we can't take the risk with the slip and fall.
Yeah, and you don't want me walking on anything because I hurt myself walking through a door. So
And you're probably the one that shows up 3 inches of snow in high heels, and I gotta take an incident report on that. So
exactly, exactly. Is there like any way that you prioritize which properties get serviced first? I hear what the city does, trust me, where
Yep.
I live. But how does that work?
Yeah, so that kind of ties into the preventative side of it, right? So as we grow, we have to take those preventative measures also to make sure that we're getting these properties serviced and keeping them safe. So every property is a little bit different. Every property has their own pain points or their own services or systems that happen. So, logistical centers, when they're moving a lot of semis in the middle of the night, that's when they need that attention. Whereas to, a retail office center or mall, right, is typically that early morning. They have to be clean by the time those stores open.
Yeah.
Those stores close, right? Those kind of get pushed to the back burner. And it's just really a juggling act. It's all about logistics and planning. And, honest to God, it's just about communication with the client, understanding what their needs
And,
are.
and that brings me to my next question. What should property owners, managers, what should they do before storm hits? And let's be honest, we know a storm is coming. It's not like an earthquake, it just appears. We have noticed. What was some good advice that you could give a property manager or an owner or something that can help them
Yeah, so
when
with
the storm
some of
hits?
so like with some of our larger clients, we proactively and again, we didn't, reinvent the wheel here. We proactively reach out to our clients like a lot of the larger companies do pre-storm, right? We have private meteorologist teams that we've hired that work for us to give us more of a pinpoint accuracy, but it's not a perfect science. And
Right.
so the larger clients, we reach out to them as proactively as possible. And especially, some of these factories that have 3 to 5,000 people moving in and out of them, we ask them, please post, a company-wide email or post on the doors, the caution, there is going to be snow on the ground. There may be some slippery spots out there. At the end of the day, we can only do what we can do, right? You get 6, 10 inches of snow. We'll keep going, but it's going to keep falling, and you're going to have to be cautious, right? You live in Michigan, or anywhere that's getting snow. Yeah, it's all about communicating and try to being
Exactly.
ahead of it, letting people know. And I'll tell you, like, one of the biggest faults that I think we have as a company, and I know it's industry wide, is we sometimes forget that we live it every day, right? So we live looking at our phones and watching the weather and getting updates every hour. The normal person that works in an office in a commercial real estate doesn't have that. They don't do that. So they may walk out and there might be surprised by 2 inches of snow, but we're not. So, communicating is huge.
Perfect, perfect. So let's do some fun questions because I like to do some fun questions. So what's the craziest weather situation your crew has worked through? And has it been snow? Has it been storms during the
Yeah,
summer?
yeah. So,
Or
I'll tell you, in our industry, the 6, 8, 10+ inch snow events, as much as everybody would think that's the hardest, those are typically not. Those become the easiest because everybody knows it's coming. It usually makes media headlines and Facebook headlines. And so a lot of people stay out of our way, understand it, and they know it's going to take some time. The toughest ones are the 1/4 inch of ice that falls, freezes, an inch of snow falls, and there's 30-mile-an-hour winds, those tend to become very tricky. They're extremely dangerous. There's more slip and fall injuries in a tenth of an inch of ice than there ever will be with 2 to 3 inches of snow. It's just a lot more dangerous. So I will tell you, the last 2 years here in our Metro Detroit area, we've had wind like we've never had it before. We've set records with sustained winds, right? A lot of people look at the inches and total inches of snow, and we haven't hit our Michigan average and so on and so forth. The perception is there, but the wind really causes our crews some trouble, and not just from the quality or standard that's on the properties, but I mean, these are human beings that are physically out in 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, wind chills down into the negatives, right? When, this past winter, we had days where my kids' schools were closed because it was too cold. Our teams don't get that luxury, right? That's when we're going out to battle. So that's, I would say, the hardest types of events. We've had a few of them these last couple of years for sure.
And you just changed my mind because, you're right. I mean, 6 to 8, put it this way, 2 to 3 inches, I'm home. But 6 to 8 inches, you're right. I mean, people are going to hopefully stay home unless it's, necessary, but you're right.
Yep.
Have you ever rescued someone stuck in the snow?
Oh,
Any of
absolutely.
your
Yeah.
friends?
Yeah. I mean, I've personally done it. Our crews have done it. I can tell you some of the biggest ones I've had were Larry at one point in time had some large accounts up in the UP, and people go off the roads there all the time, right? And when you have the equipment to help them quickly, of course, I do anyways, and I know a lot of our team would stop and help them just because we have that equipment.
That's awesome. Okay, so you know me, and I'm a coffeeholic. And for most of you who don't know me, if you don't know me, I am a coffeeholic. So here you go. How much coffee does your crew go through during the snow season? I have to know this.
So that's a great question. So in our what we call our command ops center, we have 5 Keurig machines. I personally do not drink any coffee, but they typically go through about a pallet every 2 weeks during active season. And when I say a pallet, like it is I wish I had a picture, but it's a full pallet of K cups from Kirkland K cups. It is an insane amount of coffee. It costs us an insane amount of money, but they love it. It's a benefit we give to them. And then at the same sense, we typically go through about 2 to 1 pallets of water to the coffee. So that's about 2 pallets for every 1 pallet of coffee we rip through about every 2 weeks.
That would be my dream, just to come and see a pallet of cake.
I'll text you a picture. It
You
is
gotta
something.
text me it.
Yeah.
So, just a couple last questions. What's your proudest moment in your line of work?
Um, I'll tell you, like, for me personally, there's 2 things that come to mind quickly. That is
Besides
one,
knowing me, right?
right.
Yeah,
That's
that's one, right?
definitely one
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
the highlights for sure. No, probably one of my proudest moments is I've I've had some really great people around me and teach me how to do what I'm doing. And I think with my work ethic, I've able to drive that. And I am super proud that we are able to give so many people full-time positions with full-time benefits and retirement plans in this industry. It's just not really heard of yet. So I'm super proud of that. And then I will tell you, locally, this company gives me the ability to donate to our DECA club, which is through the high school in my local community. So we are sending young business professionals and people that want to be entrepreneurs across the country to contests and conferences to learn how to be entrepreneurs and grow their own businesses. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you don't drink coffee. What keeps you motivated in this stressful industry, especially during the winter months, which would be now because you're thinking about winter per se. So, I mean, if it's not the caffeine, what keeps you motivated?
yeah, so first and foremost, I will tell you, and I think my team doesn't love this. I used to never love it, but Larry taught me this, and I have to use it because he's on here. It's just grass, so there's nothing stressful about that. It's just lawn. Snow is when you have to be stressed and be ready and on alert. What keeps me motivated, it's plain and simple. I have three boys, 7, 9, and 14. There's nothing more important to me than to trying to be a good role model to them. And this industry's helped me grow up real quick, and hit you with some reality at some really tough moments when you're, 48, 36, whatever the hours are, 24 hours into an event. You kind of think back to those moments, right? Your kids and why you're doing this, your team, the people that work for you. That's the motivation for sure.
I thought you were going to start talking about ages, but you got into hours, so we're good with that.
You can't be old in this industry.
No. So, we're gonna talk a little bit about BOMA because I know you're a new member. I believe, did you join it? Was it October, November?
Yeah, so I've been attending BOMA events for years. Officially, a member here in Detroit, with this company this year, November, I think, of 25 officially. Um, like Tom, I try to attend as many things as I can. We try to sponsor as much as we possibly can. We sponsored the cornhole tournament, hoping that it would help me get more points. I got nothing extra, still lost. Um, so, love the events, love BOMA, the people, met some great people. Again, it gives me an opportunity to see some of the best people that I think in my industry specifically. I know he's not on here, but like Luke Hamer is one of the absolute best. Worked with him for a long time. And so to be able to see them, have conversations about our business and our industry, continue to ask them questions and learn from them. I think that to me brings the real value. And then obviously there's people, any one of these property managers that attend that are looking for help and service. We try to always do our best for them as well.
Love it, love it. I've learned so much, literally. I think more than we, in our previous conversations about snow removal and landscaping and especially the coffee. So I want to thank you for that one. I know where to go if I run out or there's a shortage, but thank you for being a guest. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having
Again,
me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We want to again thank Thomas White from Dominion Realty Services and of course Derrek Teeple from Ground Masters. This is very, very enlightening, and we hope that everybody learned as much as I did, and we all know where to go for the coffee now. Today's episode will be available, just so you know, the recording on YouTube channel, on our website, www.bomadet.org. And we can't wait to see you on our next BOMA Talks. I am Susan Light, only solo because Star Masello will be joining us on the next episode. She couldn't make it as part of Star Light or the Light Productions. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We learned so much from you and look forward to seeing you at one of the events up and coming. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Rick.
Another great episode. Thank you, Susan. We'll see you all very soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Are we recording?